Oh, look at this. Talk about getting cultured. What's this then? A dictionary of etiquette. You mean I can become a proper lady?
Have you always wanted to be a proper Edwardian lady?
Really? I can be a proper lady?
Well, now you can. Just follow these simple tips and you too will be transformed from street urchin to genteel lady.
Oh, I'll have to try it then, won't I?
The first step in becoming a lady is understanding the etiquette of meal times. Sit up at meals and do not crouch or stoop over your plate. The arms should not be rested on the table and the elbows should be kept well into the sides. Liquid foods should be swallowed as noiselessly as possible, not gulped. Solid food must be eaten with the mouth closed, and conversation should not be indulged in while the mouth is full. Do not make a clatter with your knife and fork, and when you have finished eating, place them close together, side by side, upon your plate, the handles projecting slightly over the edge. They must not on any account be placed on the plate across one another, or at different sides of the plate. Do not push your plate away from you when you have finished a dish. Here endeth the first lesson. We should never be demonstrative in our action while speaking, and we should neither talk loudly nor laugh boisterously. A gentlewoman's voice should be ever soft, gentle, and low.
Thank you. Bicycle. Invitation. Thank you. Bicycle. Invitation.
The fashion of abbreviating words, of making one word out of two, and pronouncing only the first syllable in a word that has many, should be carefully avoided.
Why? Where? What? Why? Where? What?
Av. Who. Aus. Have. Who. House.
The letter H should always be put in its right place. Even a small boy who neglects to raise his hat on passing a lady he knows shows a lack of courtesy for which his mother is much to be blamed. A gentleman should push her bicycle up hills and perform any little acts, such as pumping up tires, for her. A boy should be taught to speak gently to his own womenkind, and he will then speak respectfully to all women. He should offer his seat to a lady in a crowded train or omnibus, and to see that ladies are seated before seating himself in a room.
Since the birth of the 20th century, a decided change has become apparent in the social life of England. Women, with their greater freedom and greater responsibilities, are taking an altogether different place in the scheme of things. Society seems to be throwing off many of its more weighty shackles, and there is much less rigidity and much more elasticity of rule in many details than was the case only a few years ago. All of the rules in this video are real and taken from this book published in 1912. Now, to us, a lot of them might seem unnecessary and silly. I mean, who really cares about which way the knife and fork are on a plate? But what they represent is a culture of respect and decency which, in many ways, we've lost today. There's a real complexity to society at the time. On the one hand, as we know, women were subjugated, but
On the other, there's also a clear emphasis on speaking respectfully to women. For all of the sins of the Edwardians, maybe we could learn something from them. Oh, and for the perceptive ones among you, this book was published in 1912, by which point King Edward VII, from whom we get the term Edwardian, had been dead for 2 years, and his son, George, on the throne. So why do we still call it the Edwardian era? Well, because it still feels like it. Edward was only king for 9 years, so when he died in 1910 and his son George became king, it didn't really feel like it marked a major shift in society. And so we call this period, from 1902 to 1914, the Edwardian era, even though it spans the reigns of 2 different kings. Obviously, the First World War marks a major shift into a new and different age. Britain, society and the world would never be the same again.
Right, so you took your thing
I
into...
put it in my sock, actually.
Watch out, George, she's got a shooter.